And welcome to the Birdcage for some Friday night baseball here at the University of Tampa. Conference play resumes for the Spartans after some action-packed weekends with out-of-conference foes. Tampa sits top of the conference table as some of their conference opponents picked up some losses in the past weekend. Rollins picking up their first conference defeat of the season, and Eckerd falling to 7-2 in conference play. Tampa will hope to exit this weekend at a perfect 9-0. We've got one game tonight and two games tomorrow. I'm Taylor Storley, solo on the call tonight, as Robert Satin, Mr. Friday Night, makes yet another appearance on the mound, his 8th start of the season. But before we get into Robert Satin's heroics, let's take a look at the Sailfish's starting lineup. They've got Carter Parent leading off, followed by Jake McNamara. Finley Holmes bats third, and Ian Pennington bats fourth. Swinging and a miss, strike one for Satin. Patrick Rakes bats fifth with Aaron Vetter sixth. Cody Kelly seventh, Giancarlo Chantres eighth, and Trey Miranda ninth. The Sailfish are led by head coach Ken Boltonfield, and they enter with a 7-12 record, 1-5 in conference play. They suffered 2 losses in a row en route to the University of Tampa. Last weekend taking on St. Leo and having a midweek matchup against Rollins get postponed. 0-2 on the way from Satin. He's ahead of Parent. Got him looking for strike 3. Late call from the umpire, but he rings him up. And for Satin, it's his 55th strikeout of the season. Adam Barenhart, by the way, is the home plate umpire. Even Mercado is in the infield. One down to start the game. That'll bring up the shortstop, Jake McNamara. And as that one misses outside, that'll be a good time to introduce Robert Satin, the left-handed junior out of Tampa, Florida. Has quickly emerged as an ace for the Spartans, but not just that. He is one of the best players in the nation. He was named on the 2026 Small School Player of the Year shortlist. And it's no surprise as to why. He carries a 6-0 record, an 0.23 ERA, and he has fanned 55 over 39 and 2/3 innings as he holds a 1-1 count to the righty shortstop. Satin has been nothing short of elite this season, just short of being flawless this season as that one's hit foul, just clearing the confines of the Namoli family. Well, no, not the Namoli family stadium. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually this would be named the Namoli Family Baseball Field, given that they've already sponsored our softball and intramural facility, which hosts our national championship lacrosse programs. 1-2 on the way from Satin. Inside, that'll be 2-2. Great take by McNamara, who's hitting .360 on the season, the top batting average of the starters that are qualified. Carter Parent's been hitting better, but he's done it in a limited sample size. 2-2, Satin to McNamara. Flared back, and he'll stay alive. Satin has combined electric stuff with solid command. He's only given up 5 walks on the season, and he's only given up 20 hits in 39 innings. He's averaging almost about 4 hits per inning, which is 4 hits per 9, which is a really good tally. And fouled back again. Good protections by McNamara, not falling victim to a strikeout just yet. He's only gone down on strikes 8 times this season in 75 at-bats. He's drawn only 4 walks, however, a 400 on-base clip. His teammate Patrick Rakes usually does a better job of that. Rakes is batting 5th today. Hit up the middle. This will be a tricky play for Woodburn. Picks it up. Tosses in time, 2 down. Palm Beach will be disappointed, but it looks like they just converted that out before the runner was safe. And that'll bring up Finley Holmes with 2 away. There hasn't been a lot of power across the board for the Palm Beach lineup this season. They've only hit 11 home runs to start the year in 19 games. Holmes has help with that, taking one of them over the fences. And that one's going straight up. Woodburn will have to settle under it with the sun in the sky, That'll make the catch for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for Robert Satin. Tampa's ace has another quiet start to the game with 3 straight outs. More action from the SSC Digital. And we're about ready to go in the bottom of the first. I'm Taylor Storley. Welcome back to the SSC Digital Network. The Tampa Spartans looking to get back onto the win column. They won 3 out of 4 against Davenport last weekend, but suffered an 8-5 defeat thanks to a late 6-run rally by the Panthers. Trailing 5-2, they jumped forward with a 6-run inning, getting the best of some Spartan relievers in surprising fashion to steal the win on Sunday. Technically, they only had 26 outs. Davenport was assisted by a lightning delay that lasted 90 minutes. And to make sure they could get their flight out of Tampa, which would have potentially been in jeopardy had we continued, the game was called early. Tampa was down to 2 outs. It would have been really hard to make the comeback. So definitely a deserved win for Davenport, who got the better of the Spartans. But Tampa is looking to get off to a hot start this weekend. And it'll be Jordan Evans, who picked up a handful of RBIs last weekend, leading the way. Foul, strike 1. On the mound for Palm Beach, it'll be Nolan Smoot. Smoot is a right-hander, a junior out of Mainville, Ohio. He was previously a Louisville Cardinal. I wonder if he's keeping an eye on the Cardinals for March Madness. Cardinals advancing past the local town USF Bulls to start tournament play. I'll talk about some tournament action that's just in town over at what used to be called Emily Arena later in the broadcast. But for now, Smoot continues a 1-1 to Jordan Evans. This will miss inside, 2-1. Let's give you Tampa's lineup before fully introducing the lefty arm for Palm Beach. Evans leads off, followed by Braden Woodburn. It'll be Gunnar Carlson batting third, Joander Irigoyen batting fourth. Walker Vanacek, 5th. Jake Brooks, 6th. Javi Soto, 7th, as this will be rolled to second. And it scoops by the glove of Miranda. Evans will think about 2, but he'll stay at 1. They are going to call that an error on Miranda. He was anticipating a bounce. It stayed on the ground. Runner on first to start the game for the Spartans. Batting 6th is Brooks. Batting 7th is Javi Soto. Batting 8th, Jack Martinez. Batting 9th, Jesse Ponce. So no serious changes for the Spartans, although we did see Ponce resting game 1 of the previous weekend against a lefty, giving the start to Luke Fikar. Strike 1 to Woodburn. Let's see if they'll be sending Evans. And he is safe. Well, actually, big change for Tampa is they have put Evans back at the top of the order. In recent games, it had been Braden Woodburn leading off and Evans moving batting third. But Tampa shuffling things around. I wonder if they liked the righty-on-lefty matchup to start the day today. They would have had it with Woodburn, too, as there goes Evans. They do a swing and a miss, trying to hit and run, and it does delay the throw long enough as the count goes 0-2, or 1-2. And Woodburn is safe, or Evans is safe. Good steal by Evans. That is his 13th steal of the season. He now has the Tampa team lead over Woodburn, who has 12. So it should be 0-2, I believe. Now on tie, ball one. Great hustle on the base path from Evans. And all Woodburn needs to do is deliver a hit to bring him home. Unless it's a shallow infield single, it definitely would score him as the count goes 2-2. And Woodburn able to get back to a 2-2 count after falling 0-2. Woodburn is an on-base machine. He has drawn 14 walks. He's been hit by 9 pitches, striking out just 11 times in the process. Always good when you can have a 23-11 K to or walk to K ratio. They'll do a quick check on Evans' throw. Almost gets away from the second baseman. If it slipped by Miranda, it would have allowed Evans to advance. Smoot with a runner in scoring position. Checked foul. Still 2-2. Lefty on righty, missing inside, and that is going to be clipping him and giving him the base. Two on, no one out. And we do have to double check from their stat sheet whether we were behind the count and it was actually ball 4, or if that one just rolled off the ankle of Woodburn. He's all right. Tampa with 2 base runners to start, but Smoot gets a lefty-lefty matchup. Ball 1 to Carlson. So I believe, yes, that is going to be ball 4. So it looks like everyone was a little bit behind on the stats. First walk of the game for Smoot. He enters with a 4.68 ERA. He'd only walked 5 batters in 25 frames entering today. He struck out 17. One of the stronger starters for the Sailfish pitching staff. Derek Langfelder has been a bit better in shorter outings. Wonder if Langfelder is slated for one of the Saturday matchups. You'd imagine Nolan Larson and Elia Budiak are also potentially going. This one could be in play down the left field line, but foul. So it'll go to 2 strikes to Carlson. Carlson hitting .367 on the season. He's got 2 home runs and 17 RBIs. He has been the everyday DH for Tampa. And we'll get the start against the lefty here. Good stuff in the early goings on the season for Carlson, the senior out of Tampa, the former transfer, who was a Rice Owl. There have been a few D1 transfers this offseason to supplement the Spartans offense. A lot of Tampa transfers replacing some of the departing players are actually juniors out of the JUCO scene, usually out of the NJCAA's Citrus Conference. Schools like Santa Fe, delivering plenty of Tampa strong players these last few years. And that one's missing low, 2-2. No outs is a tough spot to be in if you're Carlson. The only thing you're looking not to do here is head into a double play. Two righties also await for the Spartans. On the ground and foul. Scooped past Kelly, and it'll stay 2-2. You've had some weather jinxes before in the past, but things should stay nice and dry tonight. A couple of scattered clouds as the sunset is due to come in, I'd imagine, about an hour. And it'll get the lights going up here at the birdcage. Starting to dip deeper into spring. Not too far, I reckon, from the spring solstice. And that's going to be high for ball 3. Full count to Carlson. Irigoyen's on deck. And let me tell you from experience, you don't want to walk the bases loaded for him. I haven't pitched against Irigoyen, but if I did, I think he'd hit it 500 feet. I'm not a very good pitcher. I haven't played baseball in over 15 years. That one's hit to first, and it's bobbled. They can't get two. It'll be a very easy step on the bag for out number one for Kelly. Not the best of outcomes for Carlson, but a little bit of an awkward misjudge on the turf by Kelly does allow the runners to advance to second and third. If it had slipped behind him, it would have had a chance to be safe, but Kelly had plenty of time to react and get on the bag. Irigoyen down the line and foul. But yeah, I would not be a very good pitcher on the mound, and a player like Irigoyen would probably take me 500 feet if he got a clean swing and a drive. He is tied for the team home run lead with Jake Brooks in the starting lineup, with 4 on the season. High and inside, 1-1. Irigoyen's also tied for the team RBI lead with Evans at 27. He's got a chance to jump ahead right here, though. A fly ball would certainly bring Evans home. A base hit would probably bring Woodburn home, too. Down the right field line, and that one will evade the PBA bullpen. And almost lands on a couple of the guys waiting at the bullpen, 1 and 2. So a bit of a lookout above moment for those guys who are just chilling in the wings. It was a design choice of the field for Tampa to have the exposed bullpen on that right side of the defense. Sadly, can't see it on the broadcast from any of our angles. And Tampa has a more secluded one behind the netting, also by our batting cages. Irigoyen the left, and Tampa takes the lead. Urso is going to hold up Woodburn at third. 1 down and runners at the corners. So Urso not testing the user of rakes out in left field. Let's give you the PBA defense as Vanacek steps up. Out in left field, they've got Patrick Rakes. In center, they've got Carter Parent. And in right, they've got Finley Holmes. Vetter, McNamara, Miranda, and Kelly is the infield from left to right. Third, short, second, and first. Chantris forms the battery with Smoot. Outside, ball 1 to Vanacek. Vanacek a little quieter than some of the other Spartans. Tampa hitting .329 as a team. Vanacek's average down at .286. Not a bad tally on the start of the season, though. Vanacek's a junior, previously at the State College of Florida, another Citrus Conference side. That one missing low, 2-0. Vanacek was listed initially as a catcher on the roster, but as he's played this season with the Spartans, he's become our everyday first baseman. Brooks has also had experience playing the position, as has Braden Woodburn, but Vanacek has been the go-to guy for Coach Urso. Him and Gunnar Carlson, actually. Carlson's also played a little bit of first base. And there's a bit of an infield conference for Palm Beach. It's not just for Smoot, but everyone else will get it. I don't think that is Coach Bottenfield out on the mound. It might be Mitch Calandra or Simeon Davis. Bottenfield's 15th season with the Sailfish, off to a bit of a quiet start. But obviously, come conference play, it's a great chance to try to turn it around. Last weekend, they took on St. Leo. The previous week before that, they took on American International at home. They took the first and last games, but lost the middle 2. So wins on Friday and Sunday, 2 losses on Saturday. They're actually 0-4 on their last, 0-6 on their last 6 Saturday matchups. But can they get some luck here on Friday? Can they get out of the pickle? Vanacek to right. This should bring Woodburn home. Won't be deep enough to clear the fences. Off the wall. Not fieldable enough by Holmes, although it does stay in play. And that'll put runners at second and third. I will say, good job by Holmes to keep under it. He didn't allow the runner at first to take a huge lead. But once the ball landed at the wall, he just misjudged where it was going to land, so it brings home another run for Tampa. It's even worse now for Palm Beach. They don't have a runner at first anymore. No double play opportunity for Jake Books. Strike one. Good to see some confidence from Smoot after that deep fly ball. Immediately fires his first pitch strike of the game, getting ahead of Books. Books up the middle. This will bring a run home. Can Books beat the throw? Yes, he does. Good hustle by Miranda, the second baseman, but it won't be in time. Runners back at the corners. Vanacek to third. And Uruguayan makes it home. So the third hit of the inning for the Spartans, this time an infield single. And Javi Soto has a chance to continue the damage. The infield was not playing super shallow. A shallow infield probably gets out number two and potentially prevents Uruguayan from scoring. But it's also a risk. Blooper would then clear the bases. Outside, 1-0 to Soto. How good has Javi Soto been? Well, I'll tell you, really good. 372 on the average of the year. The West Palm Beach transfer, who was previously at Santa Fe College, has been very nice for the Spartans as the count goes 1-1. He's a 5'7" junior, weighing in at 175 pounds, one of the smaller players on the roster, but myself being 5'8". Definitely love our short king, who has been a menace at the plate this season. He's also been pretty good on the base path. He's had 2 steals. But he's behind 1-2. 2 whiffs in the at-bat against Smoot. Soto was a little less productive on the base path last year at Santa Fe. He went 1 for 4 on stolen base attempts, getting caught 3 times. Doesn't look like they'll be sending Jake Books on the base path. He's staying at first. And Soto's going to hit one into the gap. That will get down and... No, it's caught by Holmes! Tagging up and scoring is the runner, and they won't have time to turn 2 on the play. What a play by Holmes and Wright. By nature of the fly ball, that was scoring a run every single time. But at the very least for the Sailfish, they'll prevent another runner from reaching and get that second out of the inning. Books back to first. Here comes Jack Martinez. Tried to frame it, but that'll be ball 1 to Martinez. The right-hander out of Tampa, who is also out of the JUCO scene in the Citrus Conference at Hillsborough Community College, is hitting .306 on the year. After the initial opening homestand of the season, Martinez picked up an injury that sidelined him for about 2 weeks. But since then, he's been back to being Tampa's everyday third baseman. He works in a bit of an infield platoon at third and short alongside Luke Fikar and Jesse Ponce, who's on deck. Fikar also out of the bullpen as one of the high leverage guys for Tampa. Him and Sammy Beer, the closers of choice for Coach Urso. 3-0. I wonder if Fikar might get the weekend off. Sammy Beer had a rest weekend against Davenport. Gets a chance to loosen his arm and not have to worry about any high leverage spots. Tampa didn't have too many high leverage opportunities either, so they didn't necessarily need Beer last weekend. Although I know the Sailfish would like to put some pressure on Tampa and force Beer into a dangerous position. I know Sammy's definitely raring to go as well. It's a 3-1 count now to Martinez. High, ball 4. Second walk of the inning for the Spartans. And that is always something to worry about you, Tampa. One thing that Coach Tidy of the Davenport Panthers kept stressing last weekend was his team's ability to throw strikes. Against most teams, it's always a big, thing to do. Make sure you're hitting the zone and not giving up too many free bases. But Tampa teams are especially skilled at making it pay when that happens. Hit to short will be a close play at first. Ponce hustles, and he's out by a step. Two stranded on 3 hits. Tampa plates 4 with an error in the first inning. All of those runs will be earned. Or actually, one of them might be unearned for Smoot. As Tampa's off to a hot start to start the series on Friday night. Seton returns when we do in the top of the second. bracket doesn't get busted. As long as Florida stays alive, you should be fine. Warm-up complete. We resume in the top of the second. It isn't a playoff game, but the action should still be awesome. A lot of college sports here in Tampa this weekend, and for the first time, it's not just Tampa athletics. Here's the first pitch from Satin, ball one. The NCAA tournament has come to town. At the Benchmark International Arena. They are hosting games throughout the weekend, which should be a lot of fun. I was able to stop by earlier and check out Hofstra taking on Alabama. Unfortunately, the team I was rooting for, Hofstra, came up short. They were not able to put the Crimson Tide on upset alert as the count goes 1-1. It might be 0-2. It might have been the late strike call out of Bearhart. Nope, it is 1-1. So here's Satin to the lefty, Pennington. That'll get through for a base hit. Splitting Woodburn and Vanacek, one on. Here's your Spartans defense for tonight's game. You got Soto in left, Evans in center, Books in right. Martinez at the hot corner, Ponce at short, Woodburn at second, Vanacek at first. As always, Irigoyen forms the battery with Satin. If I'm not mistaken, these two have been the battery all year long for Tampa's lefty ace, Irigoyen and Satin. Although, Nick Pereira is going to start to make some impacts on some batteries as the reserve catcher for the Spartans as the count goes 0-1. Recently recovering out of his early surgery that sidelined him for 6 weeks to start the season. But Pereira is back and ready to go. He had a great game on Saturday when he filled in for his first start of the season. And he has been available off the bench in emergencies for the Spartans too. Popped up, Ponce ranges over and makes the catch. That'll bring up Vetter. One down, one aboard. Vetter only hitting 172 on the season. He did pick up an RBI earlier, though. Swinging to miss 0-1. I've noticed Vetter's got a pretty bright orange bat, at the very least on the tip of it. Kind of a nice, like, orange and blue color scheme. Almost reminds me of that vintage McLaren scheme they had brought to Monaco a few years back in F1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Another fastball away. Gets a big whiff out of Vetter. He's trying to coax that double play ball, hitting it over to Woodburn, maybe over to Vanacek. But at the same time, it's also a good pitch to get some swings and misses on. Swing and a miss, strike three. So Satin has picked up 5 straight strikes after the single to start the inning. This one leading to a strikeout, the previous one leading to a pop-out. Cody Kelly in a lefty-lefty matchup. Definitely don't envy his position. Chantra is warming up on deck. He's wearing his catcher's gear in case the inning comes to a close. Ball one. Good for Palm Beach to get a hit on the board. Pennington's been one of the hot hands this season at the plate for the Sailfish, so especially good to get him on base. This count goes 1-1. Well, they'd certainly like to get something up here on the scoreboard. Trying to keep things relatively close. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Sound went back inside. Him and Irigoyen. They are connected right now and showing no signs of slowing down. Right outside, 2-2. Fouled back, still 2-2. Kelly playing first base today. He's been a little bit weaker at the plate this season. But there is still a chance for the junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio to strike. 2-2 from Satin. Hits the corner, strike 3 called, inning over. Third strikeout out of the game for Bobby Satin to retire the side. He leaves a runner on first after the first hit for the Sailfish. Tampa leads 4-0 entering the bottom of the second. Shaky first inning for Nolan Smoot, but he does have plenty of time to try to rally and keep Tampa quiet. He'll be facing the top of the order again. Jordan Evans getting things started. I'm Taylor Sorley. Welcome back to the SSC Digital Network as we continue the action with the junior from Mainville, Ohio on the mound. Nolan Smoot wants to stay connected to the game of baseball once he graduates. If it's not on the field, he wants to work in the front office for an MLB team. He's currently a business administration major as the count goes 1-0. I'd imagine Smoot probably trying to take advantage of working in the student-athlete sports department for the Sailfish whenever he's not on the mound. A lot of Tampa student-athletes help out with our sports department, too, as the count goes 1-1. Sometimes they'll even be on the air calling the games. Most of the time, they'll be behind the scenes working the scoreboard or working our streams. And on our Stand as One days, they'll also fill the stands to cheer their fellow Spartans on. We had our baseball Stand as One game a bit earlier in the year. Tampa baseball went above and beyond last season doing that. During the postseason, Tampa softball and regional play, during a pretty pivotal game for Tampa's team, the baseball team came down to the field. There was a rain-canceled game over in St. Leo, so they came home, cheered Tampa on, and they went ballistic when Tampa cleared the fences with a big home run. That Tampa softball team, just like our baseball team, would make it to the national champions, but they would go up against the buzzsaw in UT Tyler and come home getting swept. Straightaway center on this pop-up. Parent makes the catch. 1 down. That'll bring up Braden Woodburn. Smoot's come out of Louisville, but he's not a new player on the Sailfish organization. In 2024 and 2025, he was with the team with some solid appearances. 4.40 ERA last year in 47 innings. Strike one. Smoot's favorite football team is the Cleveland Browns. I'll be the first to say my condolences as the count goes 1-1. Nothing happened with the Browns. They're just not a great team. 2-1. Admittedly, you could probably say the same thing of my condolences to me, as I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and we just hired J.J. McCarthy. Or no, not J.J. McCarthy, Mike McCarthy is coach. But safe to say, both of those McCarthys, the quarterback for the Vikings and the head coach, have not come off of recently strong spells. 3-1 now to Woodburn. Gunnar Carlson awaits. And Tampa will not have a one-out base runner just yet. Hit sharply to short. Throws on target and on time. 2 down. Smoot with 2 straight to start the frame. It's been a little bit of a long start to the inning, but exactly what he's needed. One and 0 now to the lefty. He's now on 45 pitches today. And Carlson down the line. That is right on the line and called foul. Maybe a foot away from being extra bases. One and 1 now for Gunnar Carlson. And he'll take one in the right, and this time it slips by the second baseman. So last time out, pulled it a little too far. This time places it correctly with 2 outs. Hit up the middle. First pitch to Irigoyen is going to send Carlson to second. Splits the defense. And Tampa's putting up some pressure. Here comes Walker Vanacek. He's the lone extra base hit for Tampa today. So Tampa putting some pressure again after having 2 straight outs to start the inning. Benefit for Smoot is that he does have those 2 on the board. Force outs as well at third and second. That'll miss outside, 1-0. Stanton's pitch count's been pretty low. When he takes the mound in the third, he'll be at 27. Outside, almost got an offer from Vanacek, but he holds up. Here's the 2-0. Down to the dirt. Ooh, on the corner. 2-1. Vanacek has some protection and books right behind him. And that one clips the corner again, 2-2. Naturally, with 2 outs, you'd prefer to not have a bases loading walk. Let's see how Smoot keeps battling. 2-2 from the lefty. Down to the dirt. That'll bring the count full, and both runners will be running. A base hit could honestly clear the bases with how they're moving. But instead he goes down looking, strike 3. Great spot from Smoot. His first strikeout of the game ends the inning. So no clutch hitting this frame for the Spartans. They're kept quiet as Tampa preserves their 4-0 advantage. Top of the third, 8-9 and 1 due up. Sailfish looking to claw back this 4-0 deficit. If you haven't had a chance to visit the U Tampa campus in a few years, coming to see baseball is a great excuse to do so. You blink and there's something new that pops up on campus almost every single semester. Most recently, the Grand Center opened up in the center of campus, giving students some much-needed parking space and garages, as well as some new dorms on an absolutely beautiful building. At the same time, we've got the new walkway across the center of campus right by the business building with that beautiful fountain and bell tower in the center. That's out deep past right field, and even there have been some renovations at the baseball field, the brand new outfield a year ago, and this year the Fred Pollock scoreboard getting put up there in right center. And as Satin continues, he'll open it up against Giancarlo Chantres. Ball one in the dirt. But yeah, definitely a beautiful campus and a spot you'll want to check out if you do want to come see the Spartans in action. They are going to be active 2 games tomorrow, a doubleheader. As the count goes, 2-0. Satin has gotten 3 via strikeout so far today. He's had multiple double-digit K games. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Satin opened the season with a bang. The Friday night home opener for the Spartans. Saw Satin come out and strike out 8 in a row to start the game. And he'll pick up number 4 on a swing and a miss. And what a start to that homestand it was. It completely got Tampa in the groove as they would go on for a series sweep. Tampa's just recorded 1 home loss this season. They're 12-1 of the year. And the only Friday night loss they had was against Georgia Southwestern, where Tampa was not able to deliver the clutch and timely plays that they needed. Ball 1 away. I like the idea from Miranda trying to square up for a bunt. Might be the only thing he can do to get on board against Satin, as he has gotten locked in. 3 straight strikeouts out of Tampa's lefty number 14. 24 actually. And the count goes 1-1. When he is in a groove like this, he can be untouchable. Swing and a miss. Oh, that'll make it 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 4 straight for Satin. That'll bring up Carter Parent. In hindsight, maybe the Sailfish made a mistake getting that 1-out single with Pennington, because since then, Satin has felt even more comfy on the mound. Obviously, when you've got a 0 in that hit column, around that 4th inning or so, maybe 5th inning too, that's where it really starts to creep into the back of your mind that you're doing something special. This will be a 2-out single into the left. And that can start to eat away at a pitcher's confidence. And especially if you can break the game with a big hit, you could really completely leave him rattled. Hit to short. They'll make the flip, and Woodburn gets out number 3. 2 quick at-bats after the strikeout streak comes to a close. Sees one more runner get aboard, but Satin immediately leaves him on the base path. 5 strikeouts in 3 frames. Satin still with a 0 in the
Why are you talking? You have 0 right to talk.
So here we go. It is the bottom of the 3rd.
Correct. I mean, but let's be honest. Who expected
Nolan Smoot ready to go. 54 pitches, 29 strikes. How will he do against Brooks, Soto, and Martinez? It'll be Brooks stepping up to the plate. Everyone that's a returning Spartan is a national champion, but so is Jake Brooks. And Brooks did not play with Tampa last year. He comes out of the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, and I probably butchered their mascot name. Last season with Coastal Carolina, Brooks was able to muster a .313 and 300 on base and slugging. Not too bad to have a D1 OPS of .613. He's been able to, unsurprisingly, improve that here with the Spartans, as he'll get ahead 1-0. Foul back, make it 1-1. Might they count to 1-2. And Brooks fouls this one away. Third baseman's giving chase, but it is going to drop right by the netting, out of reach. That will be second strike no matter what now. Stay 1-2. See if the home plate umpire corrects the scoreboard before we get ready. Brooks down to a 2-strike count against Smoot. That'll be a ball, missing low and in. So it should be 2-2 now to Jake Brooks. Lined up the middle. Almost picked up by the shortstop on the run. Would have been a tricky play for McNamara to then make the transfer and get the throw to first. Second hit of the day for Jake Brooks to bring up Javi Soto. PBA would love Smoot to have a bit of a gritty outing here. Tampa's already been able to muster 6 hits. We'll see how deep Smoot's able to take his outing. Soto squares up and pulls away, ball one. Let's see if he does that again. The defense is staying pretty deep on the corners. Soto this time will take ball two. Soto had a timely sac fly. A really good diving catch by Holmes prevented him from making it 4 hits in a row from the Spartans. And he'll get ahead 3-0. Jack Martinez awaits. Tampa looking to wrap up their second trip through the order here in the third. Potentially getting Evans to come up for a third time in 3 innings. The at-bat continues, 3-1. Shadows creeping onto the field from the sun with the glare behind home plate. When Jack Ike is here tomorrow, he'll definitely give you some more lore about how that could affect the players. This one popped up into shallow foul territory. Kelly giving chase, and he's not able to find it. 3-2. It's something that can definitely get in the way of the defense. And for catcher throws back to the mound, the pitcher sometimes shielding his eyes with awkward catches. It's actually affected Spartan players in the past. A couple years back, Alex Caney had a couple of bad plays with the sun shining directly at him against the Barry Bucks, giving him one of his only bad outings of the year for the Spartans. Caney, of course, would go on to win the title with Tampa before having a great year last year with Ole Miss out of their bullpen. Steps off before the payoff pitch. No outs, but they were anticipating Books running. 3-2 to Javi Soto, and he'll step off again. Books without a big lead. He'll stay put. And Soto pops this one up. Miranda trying to shield his eyes. Can he come up with it? Right fielder does it, and it takes a bounce behind Holmes. That is what the glare is going to do. It is completely throwing off the Sailfish defense. And I can't tell if that's going to be a hit or not. I actually reckon it is. That has got to be painful, not just for Smoot, but if you're the Palm Beach coach. The sun is completely getting in the way of these fielding attempts. Maybe a little miscommunication, too. A late call-off from Miranda. Bottenfield, definitely not a happy camper in the dugout. And now Martinez squares up and gets a bunt down. It's backwards, strike one. It's the 4-44 due up for Tampa. Martinez has actually played some shortstop this season, too, with Fikar at third. He's done good stuff there. Tampa's got some reliable arms on that left side of the infield. And Martinez is going to lay one down the third base line. It does roll foul. 2 strikes. Tampa had struggled with some timely hits and bunts against Georgia Southwestern. I think that's why they're making the call here to have Martinez try to square some down. Still fouled back, 0-2. That one's going to miss, 1-2. So he's already building a little bit of a lengthy at bat right here. checks the runner. Martinez hit to short, and that bounces off the glove. Tampa is going to send the runner home. And it won't be able to make a play at the plate. It actually rolls all the way to the left fielder. I thought that Rakes would have been able to get to it quicker, but no, it'll score for the Spartans. They're up 5-0. Runners advance to second and third, and that will be the 8th hit of the game for Tampa, an RBI single from Martinez. It's the deflection that turns the single into a double. While that is scored as a double on the scorecard, I will not be doing the same. No hard feelings, Jack, but I think him getting the hit was also a lucky call. There is a universe where McNamara gets the error on that play. For Martinez, that will be his 5th RBI of the year, second time he reaches base today. And this time it's a catcher-pitcher conference. Chantra's probably with just a, don't worry about it, get another ball like that and the defense is your back. And obviously Smoot knows that the defense does have his back. They're ready to put their bodies on the line for him. They just haven't been perfect today. A couple of really unfortunate plays, like the missed pop-up, and like that awkward deflection on the grounder. So runners at second and third for Ponce. He'll take strike one. Three hits in a row for Tampa to start the inning. Into the gap. And that will drop past the diving left fielder. You know, he's trying to save the run. You can't fault the effort. Ponce will hustle in for a triple. And it's a 2 RBI triple for Ponce. So there's what I say, putting the body on the line for the team. But Rakes comes up just short. Ponce had been a little bit cold at the plate entering this weekend and the previous weekend too. After hitting over 300 in the early stages of the season, his average had plummeted to 229. But you know Ponce's got to be loving that 2 RBI triple right here. He's now got 14 RBIs on the season. 7-0 Spartans. High, ball one. It is a third at-bat in 3 innings for Jordan Evans. Tampa doesn't have too many players to swap in and out of the outfield. So you wonder who will be the odd player in for the Spartans after they have a lot of at-bats. Evans to deep center field, and that's going to bounce for a ground rule double. Oh, wait, they didn't call it a double. Evans will hold up at 3, and it's 8-0 Tampa. Another triple for the Spartans. And with that, he is one behind the RBI leader in Uruguayan. Well, actually, no, he's now tied with the Uruguayan. 28 each. Evans was just a few feet away from a straight center field home run to make it 4 in the year. But he does put up a 5th hit in a row for the Spartans and a 3rd extra base hit of the game. At the very least, Smoot is still trying to work those corners. He'll miss that one outside, but it wasn't an egregious miss. Naturally, you do want to try to fire a strike after a big hit like that, you know, show you still got confidence. You also don't want to give Woodburn a meatball as they'll get a big whiff for strike one. Because Woodburn's the type of player who will capitalize on a good pitch down the middle. He drew a walk and grounded out after a lengthy at bat. A full count and a 3-1 count respectively his last 2 tries. Chantres, I think, did a little too much movement there. That was on the corner, but a bit of an exaggerated pull gets that to be 2-1. Bottom of the 3rd, 8-0 Spartans. And there's still no outs in the inning. Smoot is doing his best, but the balls have not been falling where he wants them. And that'll be ball 4 to Woodburn. 3rd walk of the night. So that'll put runners at the corners. And with a meeting already in the 1st, I'd imagine this is the day done for Smoot. There is a player making his way out from right field. So it is going to be exit stage left for Nolan Smoot. Tough day for him on the mound. He made it through 2, had a really nice second inning, straining to on the base path. But it's 5 straight hits and a walk as the cherry on top to chase Smoot out of the game after 2.0 innings. But you got to be honest, he might be unlucky to have most of those runs be earned because I think there could have been an error or two issued on the play. Keep your head up, Nolan. Tampa's just a really good offense. We'll be back with more action from the bottom of the 3rd. Well, 78 pitches. Nolan Smoot did his best to try to go deep, but Tampa just got all over him in the 3rd inning. Some timely and well-placed hits. And it'll be Zachary Orloff hoping for a better rest of the frame. Smoot surrendered 10 hits with 3 walks and a strikeout. But I will say, I reckon it should only be about 8 hits. There are 2 plays that you could have called errors or even fielder's choices on the Sailfish defense. He'll enter with 7 earned at the moment, potentially 9 come end of the inning. Orloff will hope to keep that number at the unlucky 7 for Smoot today. First pitch now to Carlson. Ball 1. Orloff is a righty sophomore out of Lake Mary, Florida, local product. Stands in at what I believe will be 6'2". Yes. He also has a very nice mustache on his team picture as the count goes 1-1. Should mention, Smoot also had a nice mustache too. I wonder if that was the team theme. Maybe they grew out some mustaches to kind of bring a little bit of aura into those photos. Orloff is a business major. His team page on the Sailfish website, as the count goes 1-2, doesn't list his future career aspirations. However, it's still pretty early into his collegiate career. Listed as a junior on the website, listed as a sophomore on the roster, so he's still got a little more time to think about that. Business major, also really flexible field for out-of-college decisions. Runner goes. Carlson fouls away, still 1-2. They were sending Woodburn. He's looking for his 13th steal of the season. Went 0 for 2 on the base path last weekend against Davenport. Got cut down twice as a base runner. Evans already got his 13th steal of the year earlier, back in the 1st inning. And given that he reached 3rd this time around, he's had nowhere to steal. 2 strikes, no outs to Carlson. That's going to get away. Will allow Evans to come home. Orloff can't cover the plate in time. 9-0 Spartans. So the downside for Woodburn is that wouldn't normally count as a steal. Given the news running before, I wonder if our scores will count that as a steal for Woodburn. Nope. They're both advancing on wild pitches. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Carlson. And Woodburn's now halfway home. You wouldn't put it past the Spartans to steal 3rd, but they're already up 9-0, and that missing low. The only team that I think Tampa would do a steal up by 9 against, that isn't a tactical call with the runner at third to try to force an error on a double steal, is probably against Florida Southern, our true hated blue rivals. No other SSC team, I'd say, is really going to, deserve the true brunt of a rivalry matchup like that. Ball 4, and Carlson reaches on a full count walk, and you can feel the frustration from Orloff. He thought he had a good fastball, he just missed inside. You definitely want someone like Orloff to be excited, though, out of the bullpen, bringing some energy. That's exactly what you need in this situation, down by 9. Orloff has a pretty high ERA this season. If you think the batted ball luck was pretty bad for Smoot, well, take a look at the .432 average allowed for Orloff this season. A very low sample size in the early goings as he'll get strike 1 in Irigoyen. He's got plenty of time to try to turn those numbers around. Vanacek waits after the Spartan catcher. Strikeout to walk ratio for Orloff is 7-6. The opposite of the funny number that kids go ballistic for. Steps off. Couple of oohs and ahs. I think they were maybe hoping to get that call to balk. But no, he'll get re-engaged and the pitch clock will resume. He's ahead of Irigoyen. Oof. Wicked curve, missing high and inside. 2 singles so far for Irigoyen. Teammates sometimes call him JoJo. Joandrew Irigoyen. What a player he has been for the Spartans. Two and one. Came out of Seminole State College after the 2024 season. Last year, he only had 4 home runs and 37 RBIs. He's now just 9 RBIs and 1 home run away from eclipsing his numbers of last year. That one's going the opposite direction of where he wants it. Fouled back, 1-2 still. We can say Irigoyen. Man, Tampa been off to a very hot start. As a team, Tampa's hitting .329, .455, .503 on their slash line entering today. They've had 27 homers and 196 RBIs. They've scored 215 runs. Now make it 224 with their outing so far in 2.0 innings. 2-2. Tampa's also been productive on the base path. They've had 40 of 45 successful steals. Today, make it 41 of 46. Just about a 80-90% clip, kind of hovering on that line. It's a bit closer to 80. Pretty good numbers. Tampa's pitching has also been stellar. A 2.79 ERA entry today, a 1.19 whip, and that is called a balk on Orloff. Both runners advance. And that'll actually give the base to Irigoyen. A balk walk. Base is full for Walker Vanacek. An RBI double in a similar spot in his previous at-bat. Well, before his strikeout in the second. Unless there's a triple play, Jake Brooks will get his second at-bat of the inning. And I will have to do some experimental coverage with my scorebook. Try to fit it in the frame. 1-0 to Vanacek. 1-1. Only benefit off that balk is that no one comes home to score. Swing and a miss, 1-2. The final inherited runner for Orloff rests at third base. He's responsible for the man on first and second. Table is set for Vanacek. And he's got a clean slate of 0 outs to work with. Even at double play isn't the worst outcome from Tampa. They'll go up by double digits if they do, unless it starts with a throw home. And another pitch clock violation. So I was wrong. It wasn't a balk that afflicted Orloff. It was a pitch clock violation. Two and two, thanks to the pitch clock violation to Vanacek. And he'll hit that one over to third. They'll be able to field it for one. Throw is almost wayward, but Kelly makes the catch. 10-0 Spartans, but it's an RBI double play. So Vetter steps on third, gets the force, and his throw to Kelly's on target. Runner on second and 2 outs with a 10-run Spartan lead. That does officially confirm the final line score for Nolan Smoot. 8 with 10 runs allowed, 9 of them earned. Ball 1 missing away. Our scorecard has him on less earned runs. With my belief of how the scoring system works, he should be responsible for 3 of the 4 in that first inning. It would be the second inning runs that I'd reckon he was a little less deserving of, with some of those awkward base hits. 2-0 now, it'll be Books getting ahead against the righty. He got 2 hits against the lefty previously. Not a lot of action out of the Palm Beach bullpen. It's clear that there is room for Orloff to work. Bottenfield just probably wants him to keep the rest of the bullpen healthy. It's a good outing for Orloff to try to reset after some shaky starts. Low leverage outing, but it is against the best team in the nation, 2-1. Now, I say best team in the nation as part of Tampa bias. They're currently ranked 3rd in the ABCA poll last week. Their loss against Davenport probably prevented them from jumping to 2nd in the nation. They've hovered around 2 to 3 in most of the national polls, usually trailing Pittsburgh State, who are ranked 1st in most D2 polls in the nation. Here's the 3-0 to Books. 2-1 to Books. This could end the inning. Chantres will watch it go foul. 2-2. Three balls, 2 strikes to Jake Books. Or 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, and he'll go down then the inning. So that'll do it for an action-packed 3rd inning. Books starts it with a single, ends it with a strikeout. Tampa scores 6 runs in the meantime, coming home on 5 hits. Tampa does leave one on the base path, and we'll be back with a 10-0 Spartans lead. Nothing Tampa. What a start for the Spartans, rallying after that loss to close out last weekend. Was a productive weekend for the Spartans, getting 3 out of 4 games against Davenport. But I know Coach Urso would love to see his team hold on to leads a little more comfortably this weekend against the Sailfish, especially as conference play continues. Good news for the Tampa, they've got a little safer of a lead compared to the last game. 10-0 here in the top of the fourth. Robert Satin continues. 37 pitches. He is coming off of a bit of a lengthy break. Strike one. Holmes, Pennington, Rakes, due up. We'll see if Palm Beach brings back Orloff. I'd imagine they will for the next inning. No one's directly warming up in their bullpen. That'll be out number 1, fielded by Vanacek. That'll bring up Ian Pennington. He picked up the first hit of the day for the Sailfish, all the way back in the second inning. Afterwards, Satin chained 5 straight outs. Swing and a miss, strike one. Pennington is a major in ethics and organizational behavior. He also wants to enter the sports world via the sales departments. Once his baseball career comes to a close, naturally, I think he would love to continue a career on the diamond if possible as the count goes 0-2. He's out of Springboro, Ohio. Was previously at the University of Akron for 4 seasons. His favorite player, Cincinnati Reds legend Joey Votto. Interesting fact about me and Joey Votto, there is no direct connection, but one year, before he had his breakout, I auto-drafted him in fantasy, and I was kind of disappointed. I was like, yo, who is this guy, Joey Votto? I was a bit annoyed. I don't like auto-draft, but it did me a solid that time around. Votto had a breakout season, and he would go on to be one of the best hitters in the majors throughout the next few seasons. And he frequently became a player I didn't just auto-draft in fantasy baseball, but I manually picked to make sure I would have his consistent bat. He's also one of the most chill guys outside the diamond if you see some of his TV interviews, as the count goes 0-1 to Rakes. 2 down in the inning. Hit sharply to first. Vanacek with a diving grab. Satin makes the run to the bag, and he beats him by a step. Great hustle out of Robert Satin. And for the second time in the inning in an 0-1 count, it's fielded by Vanacek. This time finished off by Satin. He has 4 clean innings as Tampa leads 10-0. And we're back at the University of Tampa. The sun is beginning to set, and the shadows that used to kind of peek through the cracks and lead to some awkward glare on the field have now transitioned over to the outfield as things are darkening at the Tampa Baseball Stadium, the house that Urso built. That is a figurative method of speaking. or manner of speaking is what I was trying to say. But I also wonder, next time there are renovations in the field, if they might have Joe try to help break ground. So they could say it is literally the house that Joe Urso helped build, as it'll be Javi Soto opening the inning. It is very likely by season's end that Coach Joe Urso will eclipse 1,100 wins as coach of the Spartans, as Soto gets plunked. And a couple of oohs across our press box, not just the stadium, as Soto reaches base. He's been a 7-time Coach of the Year, 7-time national champion. And you reckon Coach Urso might have a chance at number 8. Tampa had a lot of roster turnover, including the entirety of their rotation. C.J. Williams, Skylar Gonzalez, Jake Stipp, all of them departing Tampa. But guess what? Tampa has found 3 new elite arms to carry them on Fridays and Saturdays. Ooh, that one almost hits Martinez back-to-back 1-0. And similarly, Tampa able to also replace some of the departing players on offense, including the prodigal son, the literal son, J.D. Urso. J.D. and CJ, now part of the Loco Beach Coconuts in Banana Ball. That was a fun secret we had to keep for a while in the booth, Jack and I, as the count goes 1-1. Really cool to see J.D. and CJ getting some action. CJ Williams actually picked up the first save for the Loco Beach Coconuts in Banana Ball history, which is awesome. Pretty cool to see how what it basically was a Harlem Globetrotters of baseball now becoming full-fledged league of Harlem Globetrotter teams. And what's even cooler is, unlike the Globetrotters, you don't know who's going to win. I haven't been able to see one in person, but I heard great things when they came to town at Raymond James. I reckon they'll be back there soon. I believe it'll be either a 2-1 or a 1-2 count to Martinez. I had it 1-1 before that foul ball. Did he go around? Yes, he did. That'll be strike 3. And Martinez already knew he had swung. He was given a little bit of self-preservation there on that check swing attempt, but contorted a little too far. Martinez with some words to Evans to prep him for the at-bat. For now, it's Ponce. Strike 1 taken by Ponce. Speaking of the Harlem Globetrotters, also love their games. Went a few times as a kid up in Connecticut. One of the times I actually got to be Superman for them in the dunk contest, which was a fun little experience during a friend of mine's birthday party. Might have stole some of his thunder, unfortunately, as the count goes 0-2. Orloff with a quick recovery. After that inning starting hit by a pitch, he struck out Martinez for his second strikeout out of the bullpen, as now he's 2 strikes up against Ponce. Ooh, that one gets away, and that'll put Soto in scoring position. He's going to have to find a lot of luck if he wants an inning-ending double play now. Can't get a grounder to second or short anymore. Would need a line drive that sees Soto completely lost at sea. That'll get through the hole. Picked up on a diving grab at second. His throw is just in time. They say tie goes to the runner, but I reckon with a 10-run lead, maybe it becomes tie goes to the fielder. Tough call to make, though, by the infield umpire, Ivan Mercado. Good hustle by Ponce. It advances the runner to third. What a grab, though, by Miranda. On a day where Palm Beach has struggled on defense, that is a nice diving stop. We also saw one from Holmes out in right earlier. First time that Soto was at the plate. Ball 1 to Jordan Evans. He'd love to reclaim the lead for the Spartans in terms of RBIs. He and Irigoyen now have 28 on the season. Evans tied it up with an RBI triple in his last at-bat, plating Ponce. And it's a 1-1 count. Evans was the penultimate opponent for Smoot, who then, after walking Woodburn, was relieved. Orloff about to complete his second inning on the mound, who picked up a no-out situation, did a good job working his way out of trouble. I do wonder with the big lead how deep Sat will go. He could easily go 6 innings. But I also imagine that with this big lead, Tampa could rest him a bit earlier than expected and keep him fully rested and give someone else out of the bullpen a chance as the count goes 2-2. Naturally, we'd love to see Satin go deep, continue his impressive season. We know it'll certainly be good for 5 to make sure he gets back in that win column and improves to 7-0. 2-2 on the way. This one popped up, although Chantres will see it probably go off the net. Actually makes the catch, inning over. Stayed in range, and the side is retired. The runner gets all the way to third on the hit by pitch, but he's left there. Tampa strands their 6th runner as they'll exit the 4th inning scoreless, holding on to their 10-0 lead. We'll be Satin ready to continue on the mound. Will be his 5th inning of the day. He has gotten 6 strikeouts, freezing 2 looking, and getting 4 swinging. 44 strikes, or 44 pitches, and 37 strikes. Our stat monitor actually is saying Satin has 7. I would have to double check the scorecard they've got because he needs 3 strikes to get that on my books here against Yetter. He won't get strike 1 just yet. It'll miss low and inside of the first baseman. He started the game by freezing Parent looking. Picked up his next strike out against Vetter later in the 2nd. As there's a swing and a miss, 1-1. Might be something I need to double check on the broadcast because I believe Rakes popped it up to short. Either way, we continue here on the University of Tampa on the SSC Digital Network. 10-0 Spartans lead. 1-2 fouled back by Vetter. Whether it's 6 or 7 strikeouts for Satin, it's still been a very good day for Tampa's ace. The type of day we've grown to expect out of Tampa. And Satin. Tipped into the glove, strike 3. So now the question is whether he's got 7 or 8 at the moment. That'll bring up Kelly. Fouled. So it'll be 1 strike immediately to Kelly. The first baseman did go down looking to end the 2nd inning. He also did it off the back of some strikeouts from Satin. 1-1 now, Satin to Kelly. There we go, 1-2. One down in the inning. He's taking on the lefty for the second time. Chantres is ready to go again on deck. What is he looking for strike three? Garavito sets up low and away. That one's rolled to Woodburn. And that is out number 2. That'll bring up Chantres. First pitch to Chantres. Popped up and foul. It'll be 0-1. Yeah, that was right. It was a pop out to short. So we'll let the stat team know that sadly, they were a little too eager to give Satin another strikeout. He only had a pop out for what would have been Satin's second strikeout of the day, as that one's going to be tipped foul in 0-2. So instead of 8, he's currently at 7. But he could be at 8 should the inning come to a close on the very next pitch. 0-2 count for the Palm Beach catcher. We'll hope for another clean inning as he combines with Orloff again in the bottom of the 5th. Got him. Strike 3. 8 have been retired via strikeout for Robert Satin. Business as usual for Mr. Friday Night. With a 10-run lead, we'll see if that is day done after 5 great frames, or if we'll go for yet another quality start. For now, it'll be Orloff continuing as we continue in the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th, it'll be Braden Woodburn getting things started for the Spartans. The number 2 has had some legendary players wear it for Tampa, most notably recently Drew Earhart, the former Spartan and current Boston Red Sox player. That'll be strike 1. Earhart, I know, is enjoying the baseball he's playing right now. He's out there in, I believe it's Worcester, Massachusetts, with the Woo Sox, if I'm not mistaken. And he's out there with his brother, Zach Earhart. Throughout their college career, I know Jack Ike had given some updates about Zach's performances as well, alongside his brother. And now they're playing baseball professionally together. As someone who has a brother, I don't know whether that would be a curse or a blessing. Probably a mix of both. 0-2 now for Woodburn. Woodburn to deep left field. There it goes. See ya. number 4 for Braden Woodburn. After a scoreless 4th inning, that's just the shot in the arm the Spartans need. Well, not necessarily. Obviously, it's great that the Spartans do get this home run, but they're already up by 10. That just adds and gives them an even cushier cushion. Also good for him to get it deep in the count. First pitch now to Gunnar Carlson. Swinging a miss, he wanted some back-to-back jacks. He'll be down 0-1. That is the 11th hit of the day for the Spartans. They've also been able to chain 5 walks and a hit by pitch. One benefit for Smoot, he didn't hit a Spartans batter, which has been something the previous Friday night guys have done from opposing teams. Oh, 2 on the way from Orloff, who's looking for his 3rd strikeout out of the bullpen. High and away. One, 2 to Carlson. Got him. Drop 3rd strike, but this throw should just confirm out number 1. Good stuff by Orloff, eating some innings for the bullpen. And that home run he gave up was just the first run he surrendered that was earned himself out of the bullpen. Speaking of home runs, Irigoyen now sees another category that he was one of the leaders with for the Spartans. Have another character get tied for the team lead. Down the line and foul. By a foot, it's foul for Irigoyen. That one misses low. Make it 1-1. Right outside. 2-1. Three and one now to Irigoyen. Vanacek's on deck with one away. And Irigoyen's going to take one deep. Off the wall. He'll be satisfied with an extra base hit with one away. Irigoyen's now hit for 2 of the 4 stages of the cycle. He still needs the triple and home run. 1 out, runner on second for Vanacek. First pitch from Orloff. Outside, ball 1. Vanacek had a double play last time, but with the bases loaded, it did bring home a run. Not ideal to get a bases loaded double play, but it did score. Fouled. 1-1. Froze him up, but it just lands high from Orloff. Double checks with the infield umpire for the swing, but he doesn't go. Mercado says that it was a clean check. It's 2-1. On the corner, but no help for Orloff. Brutal call for strike 2, or ball 3. Vanacek to deep left, but this one is going to be in range for rakes. 2 down. That'll bring up Brooks with 2 outs. Unsuccessful in his last outing, where he was the first strikeout victim for Smoot. Can he get some revenge right here? On the corner, strike 1. Brooks had a single back in the first inning with a 1-strike count. Oh, and 2. Inside, great take. Would have been a really bad fastball to swing at for Brooks. 1-2. Swing in the dirt for strike 3 and out number 3. Orloff, 4 strikeouts out of the bullpen. Second time he beats Brooks. And even though Tampa gets one off the Woodburn home run, they're still up by a comfortable margin, 11-0. So the Spartans, up by 11, will elect to give Satin the night off. He's completed 2 trips in the order, except for that 9th batter. Struck out 8, giving up just 2 hits, leaving both runners on the base path. It's good news for Lucas Johns, who will be making his Spartans debut. He's a pitcher out of Santa Fe College. Last year, the junior was able to pick up 48 strikeouts in 59 innings, had 83 strikeouts in total in his time in the Citrus Conference. That is not the ideal warm-up concluding pitch out of Lucas Johns. But I know Johns is raring to go for his first Spartan appearance. He'll be taking on Miranda, Parent, and McNamara. The lefty, Miranda, opens things up. Actually, Miranda's a switch hitter, so he was batting righty against Satin. He's now in that left-handed batter's box against Johns. Ball 1 outside. Trey Miranda is a 5'9 junior out of Riverview, Florida. He's got 2 siblings named Talon and Ty. Interesting that the trio of Miranda kids each have a T for their first name. Speaking of T's, I'm Taylor Storley. You're watching the SSC Digital Network, and it's a 2-0 count from Johns to Miranda. 11-0 Spartans lead. Down low, ball 3 from Johns. On deck is Carter Parent. Miranda hasn't transferred from anywhere. He's been Sailfish each of the last 2 seasons, as that's ball 4. And that'll bring up Carter Parent. Carter Parent now back to the plate. Parent is a sophomore out of Yukon, Oklahoma. And by the way, as the count goes 0-1, he's a sports broadcasting major. I wonder if he's ever has any off days. He's in the booth covering different sports at PBA. Maybe he'll even cover games for his teammates here. On the corner, but no framing will help him that time. 1-1. Parent's a fan of the LA Dodgers. His favorite athlete is Jazz Chisholm. Inside, 2-1. Parent loved the location of PBA. That's why I chose to become a Sailfish. And also was a big fan of their sports broadcasting program. That's actually the reason I chose Tampa. Not for the sports broadcasting, but because of their new media program way back in 2019 as the count goes 3-1. But it was during my time in Tampa that I got involved with the sports department and eventually the sports broadcasting side of things, and since I've been doing that since 2021, since my junior year. And I've been covering baseball actively since the start of the 2023 season. And that'll be ball strike 2. He was ready for ball 4. Parent lost the bat, but he has to go again. Full count now to Parent. Runner on first with Trey Miranda. So I can definitely sympathize a little bit with Parent's road to the SSC, although it also benefits Parent that he's pretty good at baseball to also end up as a Sailfish. Me, on the other hand, I'm just good with numbers and stats. Outside, ball 4. I'd imagine that'll see Militello out there just to check on Lucas Johns. Or not. If he does get into trouble, I'd imagine Sam will come out and check with him, and it won't be anything too crazy. Probably just a, settle down, kid, you got this. The defense has your back, and Tampa does have a pretty good defense. And that'll be strike one. Nice slider to McNamara. They'll be ready to pick up for anything that gets put into play against Johns. And with an 11-run lead, the last thing you want is to see the guy missing again and again and again. Very strong at bat against Parent, though. We'll hope for the same against the shortstop. Good slider, missing 1-1. There is a bit of activity over in the bullpen. Don't know if Orloff will stay in the game that much longer. Swing and a miss. Big whiff at that slider. Orloff's on 47 pitches out of the bullpen. Orloff has not had any starts this season. He's had a couple of multi-inning rolls. This will be the first out for John's Tampa career. Martinez makes the catch at third. One away, two aboard for Finley Holmes. Double play would now end the inning for the Spartans defense here in the top of the sixth. Hit to third and fair. That'll bring home a run, maybe even two. Are they going to send the runner home from first? Miranda will hold up at third on the quick relay by Soto. RBI double for Finley Holmes. He goes on the very first pitch. One out now for Ian Pennington. He gets the righty matchup now. Probably something he's been waiting for. I'd imagine Pennington did not want to have to face Satin for a third time today. Satin, I think, will put his ERA right on the borderline of being under 0-2-0. And that'll miss low and inside for ball one. Deep right field for Pennington. That curves foul. That was a monstrous fly ball off the bat. Went about 330, I'd say. Could have been in range if it was about 15 feet to the left in terms of being playable for books. But if that stayed out of the corner, would have made it 11-4. Still a pretty big Tampa margin, but definitely feels better than 11-1. One ball, one strike. Johns to Pennington. Steps off. He's got to be careful with that. A little bit of an awkward motion. We have seen some kind of balk calls before against the Spartans, although notably today we had 2 pitch clock violations out of Orloff. He's actually recovered since then. And there's a big whiff for strike 2. Lucas Johns ahead of the count. The junior out of Lake Butler looking for strike 3 to get his first Spartan K. Tipped foul. Still 1-2. Patrick Rakes is on deck. And it's fitting that Rakes is his last name because you could say that's what he does at the plate outside of today with a .350 average. Down the line and foul, but he is protecting and staying alive. Swing and a miss. Got him reaching for strike 3. And that is the first Lucas Johns strikeout as a Spartan, and it's 2 outs in the inning. Patrick Rakes will try to keep things alive and keep the scoring motion of Palm Beach going in the top of the 6th. They've already made it 11-1. That'll be ball 1 from Johns. That'll be strike 1. That'll be ball 2. Two one from Johns. Ooh, that one misses inside and clips the leg. And they are going to give him the hit by pitch. Bases loaded. Full plate set for Aaron Vetter. Johns only needs one out to strand him. And that is going to see Sam Militello make his way to the mound.
There's lacrosse at 8 tomorrow too, right? I'm signed up, I think.
The action continues between Spartans and Sailfish. Tomorrow you can tune in at 1 p.m. for Game 1 of the doubleheader. The scheduled start time for Game 2 will be 4 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to wait and see. Afterwards, Tampa will next play on Monday on a home night, country night against Warner. That's a 6 p.m. showdown in a one-off series. It ends this homestand for the month of March. They'll be on the road to Daytona Beach next weekend to take on Embry-Riddle. They'll then be back at home for 4 straight games, taking on the Mocs on April 3rd on Little League night, then the doubleheader on Saturday, before they have Throwback Night against Valdosta State on the 7th. Wonder what they'll be doing for Throwback Night. Have to wait and see. Ball 1 inside to Vetter. But Tampa's now in the thick of conference play. They've got 2 more out-of-conference matchups before postseason play. Should Tampa stay strong, they are a lock to make regional play and potentially host for yet another year. 2-0. Great year for Tampa baseball and Spartan spring sports across the board. Tampa swimming, picking home multiple national championships after a very successful weekend last weekend as the count goes 2-0 from Johns. 2-1. Vetter has gone down on strikes twice. This is the first time he's actually been able to get ahead of a count today. But here comes Johns battling back. Hit to short, out of reach of the diving Ponce. It's 11-3. Throw from Evans will keep the runners at the corners. Two outs. They're running on everything. Congrats to Aaron Vetter. He's now up to 3 RBIs on the season. Tampa's lead is cut to 8, and that will be curtains for Lucas Johns with 2 outs. He did pick up his first Spartan strikeouts, but a couple of command issues also have plagued him across the way. And now to go to the bullpen when we'll take a quick breather when we come back. So another first appearance of the season. This time it isn't a debut. Corey Lyle is back on the mound after making a playoff appearance last year. Lyle is the grandson of Sparky Lyle, who is a former MLB Cy Young winner. Lyle's lone appearance for the Spartans got him a win. He entered the game in relief after a Spartan opener didn't go the complete game distance or required distance for the win as the count goes 0-1. So it was Lyle who picked it up instead. Pretty cool stuff for Corey Lyle. That was in a matchup against Albany State, a 25-4 Spartans win last year. 0-1 for Lyle. This one flared foul. He's got 2 quick strikes to Cody Kelly. So Kelly still in the game against Lyle. 0-2 count. Vetter at first, Rakes at third. Swing and a miss! And Corey Lyle gets out of the jam. First at bat, 3 straight strikes, inning over. There are 2 hits that plate 3 runs for Palm Beach, but they'll leave 2 on the base path as Tampa holds on to an 11-3 advantage. We'll be right back. So, call to the mound. And a change for the Sailfish. Orloff done after 3 solid innings. They'll now bring in Gavin Ingram to try to pick up an inning or 2. The righty has had 6 innings this season. He's given up 6 earned in that span. This will start a couple of changes for the Spartans. It'll be A.J. Graham first off the bench, replacing Javi Soto. Ball 1 just outside to the former Pittsburgh Pirate. Cool note about A.J. Graham, he was picked in the 18th round of the 2021 MLB Draft. Similar to Anthony Nunez, after a couple years in the minor leagues, he eventually made his way to Tampa. Since then, Anthony Nunez has been able to make it back to baseball, and he's made his way onto the 40-man roster for the Orioles after signing with the Mets. After his emergence as a two-way player, the count goes 2-1. He's turned into a pretty nice closing prospect for Baltimore. He'll start the season down in the minors, but with solid spring training performance, I think there's a good chance that Nunez will be on that short list for a call-up as the season progresses. As the count goes 3-1, means he could be joining former Spartan reliever or Spartan starter Jordan Leisure in the majors. Leisure, of course, still with the Chicago White Sox. After Graham, it's Jack Martinez. Ball 4. Naturally, it's a bit harder for Spartan bats to go the distance to the majors. But it's not impossible. Jake Turr comes off the bench for the pinch hit appearance. Turr has been a super utility man for the Spartans throughout his tenure. He was with the national champs last year. Back in 2023, he was on one of the best U18 teams in the nation. We'll see where Turr plays when he's on defense. It's possible he'll be at third and Graham at short. Imagine Tampa could be keeping Fikar in their back pocket as the count goes 1-0, just in case they need him to come in and pick up a couple of innings late in game. They'll definitely lie on Lyle's arm for the 7th inning, maybe the 8th. The lone outing for Lyle was 3 2/3 out of the bullpen. Lyle did give up 4 runs, but Tampa also scored 25, so it was no big deal. And Lyle did just get out of the inning with a nice strikeout. He's now had 4 strikeouts in 4 innings in his Spartans career. That one almost hits Turr, 3-0. That'll be strike 1 taken. Fastball right down the middle. Turr flared foul. That'll be 3-2 if Kelly can't get it. I love the hustle out of Kelly, though. 3-2 as that one just lands out of his reach. You don't normally see first baseman with that strong of wheels trying to go get foul balls like that, but Kelly's got him. He's got a bit of a wild hairdo, too. I wonder how his hat's able to stay on comfortably most of the time. But Kelly is ready to go, as is Ingram. Ball 4. Tough take with the slider. By the way, on Ingram's player profile, it mentions that his favorite Bible verse is Proverbs 3:5-6. That's actually true for a lot of Sailfish players. They also have their own favorite Bible verses out there. Proverbs 3:5-6 from the New International Version reads, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways to submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." You know, honestly, for a pitcher, that's some pretty good advice. Kind of almost leave it up to him. I guess in a spot like this, that could be good advice to follow. To not overthink things, settle back and throw, and let things work out. Fouled away by Ponce, and he'll quickly be behind 0-2. He tripled earlier, but he's 1 for 3 on the day. One cool tradition that I believe is partially tied with religion for Tampa sports is actually tied with our lacrosse teams, who I know it's actually prevalent across most lacrosse, I know, teams and stuff, but joining together in pregame kind of unions with other teams late game as well at the Namoli Family Tremero Complex. Always a cool sight to see after a hard-fought game, teams coming together, and I believe they share a prayer together. I'm not 100% sure, but a fun moment nonetheless. 1-2 to Ponce, who will take that one in the dirt. Almost gets frozen up. Strike 3. Late call from the ump. 1 down, 2 aboard. First strikeout for Ingram out of the bullpen today. Also mentions that Ingram's favorite athlete is Kirk Cousins. so close, ball one. A one-hit day for Evans. He did come home after that error to start the game, the lone error from the PBA defense. But you could make the argument there had been a couple earlier in the day, too, with those awkward reactions to fly balls and ground balls. 1-1 for Evans. Day has turned the night here at the University of Tampa campus in the bottom of the sixth. 11-3 Spartans in conference play. A beautiful night sky as Evans flares that one to deep center. Tracking back his parent, 2 down. So, Luke Fiker will come off the bench here in a pinch-hitting role for Braden Woodburn. If Tampa gets into trouble, he will be ready to take the mound. You imagine he'll be at the hot corner, and Tur probably picking up second base. Unless they might be trying Graham in an outfield role, or Tur in an outfield role. Carlson won't be replaced yet. He's on deck. High, ball one for Fiker. Tampa's two-way man has had a good, solid season. 280 average, 441 on base, and 280 slugging. He's had an 0.87 ERA out of the bullpen. That'll get down for a base hit. Make it 12-3 Tampa. They'll hold Tur up at second as Graham comes home to score. And Gunnar Carlson has a chance to continue to extend the damage for Tur, or for Fikar, make it his 5th RBI of the year. Hasn't had too many hits, but a lot of them have been timely. Outside, ball one to Carlson. That one's in the dirt, 2-0. Uruguayan is due up, but it looks like they'll go to Nick Pereira off the bench. On the corner, 2-1. We'll see if Pereira will have to go and put on the catcher's gear immediately. I'd imagine they'll make the defensive swap even if he doesn't get the at-bat, or if he will have a chance to swing away. 3-1 now to Carlson, so he only needs one more ball to extend the inning. Carlson walked earlier. He's 1 for 3 with a single. And Carlson hits that one into the gap. Is it in range for rakes? Yes, it is. Inning over. Tampa strands 2, but plates one on a hit. They had 2 walks previously to set the table. And through 6 innings, Tampa is back on top by 9. It's 12-3. Welcome back to the SSC Digital Network. I'm Taylor Storthy. It'll be Corey Lyle continuing on the mound for the Spartans. I believe it will be Nick Pereira now taking the catcher position. Irigoyen's day most likely done. I don't think they've decided to make the postpone the defensive swap after he was preparing to be a player behind the plate. At the plate. We got to keep an eye out on our defensive changes. A.J. Graham moves out to left field to replace Soto. At third base, it's Tur. And Fikar is at second base. That'll be ball one from Lyle to open the at-bat and open the inning. Chantres Miranda due up as that'll be 2-0. So it'll be Pereira and Lyle as the new battery for the Spartans. Pereira has been absent for a good chunk of the year, so he'll be working to build some chemistry up with the pitchers here. He is coming off of a surgery that had left him sidelined for about 6 weeks before the start of the season. But he's been able to recover on the faster end of that time, so it's been great to have him back in the Tampa lineup. Coach Urso mentions that he's got a lot of hope that Pereira can be big down the stretch for the Spartans, as that one's roped to deep left field. Graham tracks it down. One away. And if that game earlier last weekend was anything to go by for Pereira, it should be good stuff. It was the second game of Saturday, Tampa coming out on top 11-1 to Davenport. At the bottom of the order, Pereira started the game in the second with a walk, singled in the third. He scored after a triple in the fifth, and doubled and scored in the seventh. If he had one more at bat as the count went 0-1, he would have had a chance at a cycle. But his fellow battery mate, Joander Irigoyen, walked it off via run rule. 0-2. Lyle quickly ahead of Miranda. Bottom of the order. Parent is due up. Hit up the middle to second. Good scoop by Fikar, 2 away. Interesting to see Fikar playing the new position at second, but doing a good job of it to start. He's got a very powerful arm. Even though he throws a sidearm motion on the mound, Fikar has electric arm strength, as that'll bring up Parent in the top of the order, fourth trip through the Sailfish lineup. And after the lengthy sixth inning, a quick seventh frame, as that one's fouled for strike one. Lyle doing exactly what Tampa's hoping he can do out of the bullpen. Corey's a junior out of Mantua, New Jersey. A freshman in 2024, a sophomore last year, and a junior this year. His entire career at UTampa as the count goes 1-1. 1-2. Or 1-1. Hit sharply to short. Ponce's there. Throw across the diamond. Scooped by Vanacek. Inning over. It's 3 up, 3 down. Great inning in Lyle's first appearance of the year out of the bullpen. And now it's time to stretch time for the lucky seventh. Ingram continues on the mound for the lucky 7th, bottom of the 7th here at the Birdcage. I'm Taylor Sorley. Welcome back to the SSC Digital Network. I'm curious for the viewers at home about how your March Madness brackets are doing. I filled out a couple this year, as I always like to do. And even though I was rooting for Hofstra, I didn't have them advancing in too many of my brackets, knowing that Alabama was the likely favorite. But there haven't been too many crazy upsets. I know yesterday, High Point, an upset that a lot of fans were hyping for, actually happened. It'll be interesting to see any that go on further. For now, it looks like St. John's and Purdue should cruise past their round 1 opponents. They're up by double digits in their games. Nick Pereira starts things off after being the defensive replacement at catcher, and he'll almost get clipped, ball 1. Vanacek and Books are due up. Looks like we'll keep Vanacek, and Books will probably be replaced. I think that's Dennis McCaffrey in the on-deck circle after him. And that one almost clips off of the arm of Pereira, 2-0. Pereira, deep fly ball. Is it going to go? No, it's caught at the warning track. Good hustle by Parent. One away. Pereira's got some pop, but Parent's got some wheels. Dennis McCaffrey getting some huge hacks off screen. Walker Vanacek will go, but it will be the sophomore outfielder out of Cranford, New Jersey on deck. Swing and a miss, strike 1 for Vanacek. Started the game with a double. He's 0 for 3 since. Ingram continuing. Good slider. That'll be strike 2. Very active in his freshman year. 17 strikeouts in 15 innings. Command has always been a bit of a problem, though, for Ingram. 17-14 for the K-to-walk ratio in his first season with the Sailfish. Good command in that at-bat to get out number 2. In second season, it was 6-9, with 9 walks and 6 1/3. This inning, he's cleaned it up a little bit. And although he did walk 2 to start the game today, it's now 5-5 for his combined strikeout-walk ratio. And he is looking for a second relatively clean inning. He gave up that 1 run off the RBI by Fikar. But since then, no base runners. Ball 1. That'll be Dennis McCaffrey at the plate now. Back in high school, McCaffrey hit the walk-off home run for his father's 500th win. Played for his father in high school, who was his head coach. And he delivered his father a big milestone victory. Awesome moment for the family. 2-0. McCaffrey most certainly will be in right field next inning. As he flares this one to right field, will be shallow. Can Holmes get to it? Yes, he does. Inning over. So, an unlucky 7th as Tampa, for the first time today, does not pick up a base runner. 2 innings clean now for Ingram, as we'll be back with a 12-3 Spartan lead. Out of the bullpen for the Spartans, they will bring aboard junior Alex Lash. Lash comes out of New Orleans. He was previously at Delgado Community College. 2.13 ERA last season. He fanned 52 in 38 innings with a 6-1 record. He's gone from starter to bullpen here with the Spartans. Wonder if Lash could have a similar jump to the rotation like Tobin Moran did this year. We do know 2 of the Tampa starters probably will not return next year. B.J. Bailey, who is likely going to be the tomorrow Game 1 starter, is a graduate student previously at Clemson. John Luke Glanton, a senior from Georgia College. Moran's only a junior, so he could make the return. Actually, no, Moran is also a senior, so he probably wouldn't be back either. Satton's only a junior, so he could return to the Spartans for next season. But you also don't know if after an electric year like this, if he could even be a MLB draft prospect. And if you consider how good Tampa players have actually done after great seasons on the mound, could be more likely than you'd think. First pitch now from Lash, opening to McNamara. Down the line and foul. Looking at this year's numbers for Lash, he's had a 3.97 ERA, 10 strikeouts in 11 innings. He has given up 7 walks, holding opponents to a 2.43 average. He does have a 1-0 record, picking up a win earlier this year. Down to the dirt, 1-0, or 1-1. Two and 1. High, but not that deep. 1 down. McCaffrey makes the catch. Finley Holmes had an RBI double back in the 6th. And he'll take ball 1. No activity in the Sailfish bullpen. I don't think they've had anyone aggressively warming. It will probably be Ingram back for the bottom of the 8th. He needs just 3 more outs to close the day for the Sailfish defense. Swing and a miss, 1-2. And if he can, he would actually leave the Sailfish bullpen in a really good position leading into tomorrow. 1 p.m. is the first game of a doubleheader. Tampa's bullpen a little more actively used. But as there is a close call, a couple of groans in our press box about it are made. Tampa haven't been really used any higher leverage bullpen guys yet. In fact, today, 2 of our Spartan relievers have made their seasonal or Spartan debuts. The count goes full. John's a little bit shaky out of the gate, but Lyle, 4 batters faced and 4 outs. Swing and a miss. High heat on a full count from Lash. 2 down. I'd imagine Lash will return for the 9th if he can get this quick out. I'll just try to close the door. Lash struggled last time out against Davenport. He played on the Sunday game. Gave up 2 walks and a hit. 3 runs scored against him. Josiah Velasquez came out of the bullpen and couldn't get out of the jam. Cade Droyan was able to do so as the count goes 1-0. Velasquez got the nod for the go-ahead run, although they were unearned runs as there was an error in a tight spot that gave him a fully unearned day. Good pickup by Vanacek on a hard hopper, inning over. So a bit of redemption after a tricky outing last Sunday. Lash keeps it clean in his first inning on Friday night. 12-3 Tampa on to the bottom of the 8th. As the inning's about to go, I do want to give a shout out to our media teams who deliver all the photos and highlight videos from out our games. They've been able to build some pretty cool video packages over the years. And now that we've got the Fred E. Pollock scoreboard out in right center field, we've been able to showcase some of their work on game days, which is really cool. It's another reason to come to the ballpark in person. If you're in the area, might as well stop by. 1 p.m. is first pitch time for the doubleheader tomorrow. And on Monday night, if you can't make tomorrow, Tampa will be hosting Warner. Always fun to have a game under the lights, especially on a Monday night. Last chance for the Spartans. Graham, Tur, and Ponce due up. We'll see if they replace Ponce, but for now he'll stay in. Maybe it'll be a Devin Goldberg at bat. Goldberg, the member of the JV roster, has had plenty of appearances off the bench for the Spartans this season, usually as a defensive sub. I mentioned Goldberg's involvement on the Spartans team to Coach Urso before one of the games last weekend, and he mentioned that, for Goldberg, they're hoping he improves on offense because he's already done a great job on defense as the count goes 1-0. But cool to see Goldberg being able to break onto the team, usually sticking around the second base side of the infield. 1-1, good spot there to Graham. Walked in his first try, and he eventually scored on the RBI by Fikar. Coincidentally, that actually was against Ingram. So Ingram's completed a full trip through the Spartan order. Looking at the run-ahead rule, as that one's fouled back 2-2. We usually don't have that in play on Friday nights, nor in conference games. So Tampa scoring a run here to go up by 10 probably wouldn't be game over. It would just make the deficit a little bit longer. I say that because Graham's had some pop this season. 3 home runs. Ball 3. Graham notably had a 2-home run day back at the start of the season against Montevallo. He was one of the starters for Spartans when Jack Martinez got injured, usually picking up reps at the hot corner. And he's been still pretty active off the bench as a bench bat. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Second strikeout for Ingram out of the bullpen, 1 away. He has retired 5 straight Spartans. Second try for Tur, and indeed, it is a pinch hitter off the bench. It looks like Goldberg's 38, but it might be Fogel off the bench. We'll have to see as he takes a check swing. It is Matthew Fogel. Strike 1. Evans, top of the order, potentially getting a chance this inning too. I'd imagine he'll stay in as the lone outfielder staying in the game, as that one's fouled away. They could also put in Makara in for him, too. Makara, the freshman out of Charleston, South Carolina. Popped up and foul. Kelly gives chase. He keeps his hat this time, but that one goes off the netting. Tur staying alive in the fight. Entering the day today, Tur hitting 308. Last year he hit 400 for the Spartans. Has he been good? Yeah, he's been pretty good with you, Tampa. And he'll get a hit right to third. Vetter didn't need a move at all. Bad luck there for Tur, 2 down. And that'll bring up Spartan veteran Matthew Fogel. He is looking for his first hit of the year. 7 at-bats. He did draw 3 walks, but he hasn't gotten on board just yet. 300 on base. Still looking for that first hit of the year. He had 3 RBIs last year against Eckerd in conference play when Tampa won 27-1. Came in mid-game off the bench and delivered some nice results. And while he's been a reserve guy for Tampa, he has been part of both the most recent national championship winning sides, as the count goes 2-0. That'll hit the zone 2-1. It'll be interesting to see the defensive change that follows with Fogel. If that shifts him over to first base, or if they'll bring on a different defender to cover the infield. Maybe Vanacek will be playing somewhere across the defense. Fogel into left. His first hit of the year. Get in there, Matthew Fogel. It's a double. That'll be an at-bat the Spartan bench loves. And Evans will continue to stay at the plate. Fogel's had hits before with the Spartans, but he'll be happy to break out of the 0-4 slump that he's had in his limited appearances this season. A 2-out double keeps Tampa alive to go back to the top of the order. 6th at bat now for Jordan Evans. Ball 1. Flew out with a runner on in the 6th. One hit in 5 tries, also had an error, and an RBI. His average is going to go down a couple points today, though, unless he gets a timely hit here. 2-0 count. No one warming for the Palm Beach bullpen. They need Ingram to get one more out. I'd imagine that's something Ingram's able to do, even though he is at over 50 pitches now. And that is a fly ball that Ingram was looking for, in range for Parent. Almost falls backwards, makes the catch. So Tampa ends the day with 2 innings scoreless, but they do get a double to strand a runner in the final frame. 3 more outs. Can Tampa hold on to the 9-run lead? We'll wait and see. It should be Lash to close the door when we come back. Kenny Robinson will get the final inning for the Spartans. I said it should be Alex Slash for the ninth. Well, don't trust every single word I say. I sometimes am wrong. Matthew Fogel will be playing at first for Vanacek. Vanacek slips over to the hot corner. Fiker moves to shortstop. Tur moves to second. So, musical chairs in the Spartans infield sees Fiker playing at the sixth position, Tur moving to second, Vanacek at third, and Fogel at first. Fogel's typically been a kind of flexible catcher first baseman for the Spartans. Not a surprise to see him get reps there. Strike one from Kenny Robinson. Last year, Robinson had a 7.44 ERA with Eastern Florida State, but he had picked up 37 strikeouts in 32 innings. He's got some good stuff. Now he gets slightly better defense help with the Spartans. And he's quickly up 0-2 to Rakes. Robinson got hit around a couple of times out of the bullpen this year. 8 runs allowed in 5 innings, but notably he has struck out 8 in that 5-inning span, giving up just 5 walks in the meantime. Let's see if he picks up number 9. Nope, but it is in play at third. Running across is Vanacek, turns and fires. 1 down. Third base is not his primary position, but good stuff for Luke Vanacek. Walker Vanacek. So, call to the bench now for Palm Beach. Rakes did get that final plate appearance, or did he? Now at the plate, it is Santi Shield. Swing and a miss. That'll miss 1-1. Shield has had 15 at-bats. He's had 5 starts, or 5 appearances and 4 starts. Batting .267. He does have a .533 slugging percentage, though. On the corner, 2-1. By the way, PBA are winless on the road this season. They've had 3 games away from home, 7-9 when playing at their friendly confines. Not an easy task getting your first road win of the year against the Spartans. The birdcage is a tough place to tame. Back in 2024, Tampa had a record of 32-2 at home. And in 2023, they had a record of 28-3 at home. So 60-5 over the last 2 seasons at home. Not counting the 12-1 start to this year, which would make it 62-6 in their last 68 home games. Swing and a miss. High heat on the full count from Robinson. First strikeout from out of the bullpen. 2 down in the final inning. Last gasp, Cody Kelly being replaced off the bench by Luis Paolillo. Louis Paolillo out of the bench. Paolillo. There we go. 3rd time's a charm and getting that pronunciation right. Do want to shout out Palm Beach. Their roster does have the pronunciations immediately listed next to their names. Always makes your life a little bit easier as a broadcaster when they are given to you forthright. Strike 2 from Robinson. Paolillo quickly down to the count. He is 2 for 22 on the season. He did draw a walk. He won't this time. Strike 3. Game over. I don't know if that'll take Kenny Robinson's ERA out of the double digits, but I think it'll certainly help him as he closes the door for Tampa to get back in the win column. Tampa come out on top 12-3. They have 14 hits on the day. No errors, while they do strand a handful on the base path. In total, they left 10 on board. PBA delivered 4 hits, 3 runs. They left 4 on the base paths. And it's Robert Satin. Another outing where he keeps things scoreless. He'll jump to a 7-0 record on the season. Smoot, a tough day on the mound, got hit around like crazy in that 3rd inning. He'll fall to a 2-3 record. Tampa wins by 9 after some late offense by the Sailfish. But Tampa actually gets the last laugh with the final run of the game. But after 2.5 scoreless frames, both teams will be raring to go tomorrow at 1 p.m. Most likely it'll be Bailey starting the day for the Spartans and Glanton following it up. We hope to see you here or at least on the SSC Digital Network tomorrow. I'm Taylor Storley. For everyone here in the press box, have a great night. Final score, Tampa 12-3. That is win number 20 for the defending champs.